Okay, guys, how we doing? Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. Get a little bit of time, let everyone get settled, let everyone get involved, and then we'll dive into today's live stream. As we usually do, can we get a little bit of openness? Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Can we get a little indication if you guys can hear me? Please give me a wave, say hello, whatever it might be, just to ensure that everything is working and we are up and running. First 5 minutes usually a little bit slower anyway, so we'll allow everyone to come get involved, and then we'll have a bit of a talk about what we want to achieve today and how we're going to achieve it. Good morning. Out of curiosity, would you prefer Horman or your actual name? Just for future reference, what would you like? G'day, Joel. How you going, mate? Welcome. It's good to see you again. Awesome. Whitfog, great to see you, mate. Welcome, welcome. I don't think I've seen your name before. Are you new here? But fantastic. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Max, everything is working. Fantastic, mate. Welcome. Lovely, guys. Looks like we're getting Horman is fine. Perfect. No worries. I'll stick with that. So far, so good. Hope I'm not late. You are not, Mike. You are right on time. We haven't even begun yet. We're just getting started. Just gonna have a little bit of a chat and then have a look at what we're gonna have a talk about today. In the meantime, while everyone joins, how did you guys find the new trade ideas? Decided to do them a little bit differently, maybe a little bit more in depth rather than just talking about the idea and you having a look for yourself. How did you feel about the new one, the big run through? I can make it this time. Awesome. Welcome, Flash. It's good to see you. I watch your videos and troll your Discord posts. Fantastic. It's good to hear. It's good to hear. It's nice to see so many friendly faces getting involved. Well, it won't be too much longer before we dive in. I haven't done any analysis today on the charts, so I've had a very, very busy morning, so that's something we're going to be able to do together today as well. So we'll be able to run through a couple of charts. I did notice a little thing on Great British Pound US dollar, maybe an opportunity that we can trade, but we'll see. We'll see. Awesome. Thank you, Horman. I appreciate that. If everyone on YouTube or on TradingView, this is your first time seeing us live, do come over to the TradingView account, chuck us a follow, have a look at our recent posts. I post trade ideas every day and explain different things. So do come over, have a follow, have a like, have a comment. I'm very active over there, and I love responding to people's comments on the post, even if you want to talk about the chart. Very open and literally massive open book. I talk about everything on how I look at it and all well detailed as well. So if you aren't involved or you haven't come over and checked it out yet, do so. Come over. I manage the whole TradingView account, so you'll be talking to me when you do come over there. This is my first time. What are we going to discuss? Welcome, Hussein. We're going to have a look into the charts. We're going to have a discussion about our new program that's launched not too long ago, which I know a lot of people are very happy about. They do like the new program, which I said they would. We're going to have a little chat about that. We're going to do a lot of analysis, and then we're also going to run through some trade opportunities as well. You like seeing my thought process? Fantastic, Joe. I'm glad you do. There's a little bit of extra education out there. I prefer diving more into the emotional side than the technical side. I find a lot of traders get caught up too much on technical analysis when majority of the work is done away from the strategy. But it's hard to relay that through trade ideas. It is very hard. So I'm going to be doing a little bit, I guess, more technical analysis and running through how I do my technical analysis compared to how I make the emotional decisions of whether I should take trades or not. I guess that's for another day. Hi, F1 Trader. How you going? Welcome. The new format of the trade ideas is good. Fantastic, Max. Thank you. I started this week the Bootcamp Challenge, so first time at the 5ers. Well, welcome with open arms. I wish you all success. I hope you enjoy not only the process of running through the boot camp and everything that comes with that and the extra pressure. But also hope you manage to pass all those 3 stages and we can work together in the future in extending your funded accounts and getting you to that next level. You really like the 5ers? I'm glad you do. I'm really glad you do. We try our hardest to relay as much information and give all of our expertise and all of our equipment and tools to benefit the traders as much as possible. So I hope you streams like this, you take advantage of everything that you have access to at the firm, because we do put our heart and soul into what we can provide for you guys. So, all right, we've been about 6 minutes. There's enough people in here, right, to start having a chat about some bulk stuff. I'm going to dive into the charts first because I know how much you guys love diving into the charts. If you do have any questions at any point, don't feel rude or don't feel like you're interrupting. Shout at me, put them out, ask a question. It could be completely unrelated. I'll address it at some point over the hour that we have together here, in terms of anything, whether it would be maybe upcoming news releases, maybe you're struggling with a bit of emotion you want to have a chat about, maybe you just want to analyze the chart, whatever it might be. Shout out. It's what I'm here for. And then probably about the last 10, 20 minutes of the live stream, I want to have a chat and answer all the questions about our new program, because obviously a lot of people are excited about that. We've got a lot of parts moving, and it is a completely new and innovative concept that the market, especially the market we work in, have never seen before. So it can take a little bit longer for people to get your head wrapped around, but that's what I'm here for. I'm going to help you guys understand the thought process behind it, how to pass it, and how it all works, and I'll also explain to you guys how you get 100% of the profits. But for now, let's get into the charts. So, first things first, I wanted to have a talk about Great British Pound Swiss franc, right? And this is an idea that I put up a couple of days ago on the TradingView account. There was a few things I wanted to have a look at in the trade idea itself, but also just to explain, because I feel like I can explain it a little better talking than writing. I don't know if I'm the same as anyone else like that, but I do feel like I can talk about a topic and explain it a lot better than writing it out. So Great British Pound Swiss, as I say, I'm better at talking. I just split my words. Great British Pound Swiss franc. We've got a few things that we want to notice, okay? And it's very similar to Great British Pound US. You know what? We might even go on Great British Pound US dollar first, okay? Because I think it's going to be easier to explain it on this one and then come over to the Great British Pound Swiss franc. On the weekly chart here, we have with all the drawings, I'm going to run you through it again, okay? We're on the weekly chart here of Great British Pound Swiss franc. No, we're not. We're on the weekly chart here of Great British Pound US dollar. I'm just looking for common trends, what we've seen recently, okay? So if we're having a look at this chart, we can see that we've just come up and we've tapped this area up here. We've tapped this and we're kind of bouncing away from it. Now, for quite some time, we've been in a downtrend. Since 2015, realistically, maybe even 2014, we've been in a downtrend. Now, how am I identifying that we've been in a downtrend, right? All of this area here, you can see we have constantly broken a new low, a new low, a new low, which indicates to me that each time we break this structure, and break this structure, that we are continually in a downtrend. Then what did we start seeing creeping in 2017, 2018 was a change. We started getting higher and higher, and then we started coming lower and lower and lower. We just broke the all-time low, like literally just, and then we started going higher and higher again. So we're starting to lose the overall bearish confluence that we had in this move here, and we're starting to go a little bit sideways, which tells us a couple of things. Either everyone in the market is considering this as fair price, the Great British Pound US dollar, or the bulls have had enough of this moving down and we want to start taking it back to the all-time highs of maybe 1.6, 1.7. How do we know which one it is? Well, here's the beauty of it. We don't. We never do. But what we can do is look for probability, or at least expect that we're going to be trading in this range for a little bit while. We might come back down here. We might come up, retest these, move down. Well, for all we know, we might just rip straight through. But probability-wise, there's probably a good chance we're going to sit in this area. Now, this has been tested once, tested twice, tested a 3 time, maybe. Down the bottom here has been tested once, tested twice, tested 3 times. Then the 3rd time, it even had a bit of a liquidity grab. If we do come back down to that level, we might break out and we might keep heading bearish. But as we dive, that's the weekly chart, right? So I've got kind of an overall view of where we're sitting long term, how it's looking. Then what we have, as we go a little bit, we just zoom in, right? We just zoom in a little bit. We start seeing that here, after we had these 2 large weeks here, we started breaking structure in a move up to retest this top supply area, which was the previously weekly high in this channel that we have formed. Once we tested this, we come back, we retested it again, failed to break higher, I do believe. Oof, very close, but it did fail to break higher, and then broke structure again down to the downside here. Right? We printed out here, then we broke there. We're moving down, we've got this, we broke out here. But one thing we've noticed in this whole move here compared to moves like this is it's a lot weaker. And I don't think you need a whole lot of experience to understand that that is a lot weaker. Why? Because if you were to draw a box around how far it went, let's go from here, how far it went in the amount of time, and then bring that same box over here, how far it went in that amount of time, width-wise, it's probably about the same width. You can see one traveled a lot further, which gave us a lot more, the word I'm looking for, a lot more power in that move. It showed us there was a lot more volatility, a lot more buyers in the ability to move it in around the same time frame. Okay, we haven't gone anywhere near as far, which is telling me that the market's kind of slowed down. Now, yes, implications of Russia and Ukraine are affecting this, and different economics or economical consequences do have an effect in this. But nevertheless, if people aren't buying and people aren't selling, it's going a lot slower. Now, we are seeing more selling than buying, obviously, because the price has come down a bit. But what this tells me is it's weak. It's a weak move to the downside, which it doesn't surprise me if we will get a pump to the upside. So realistically, I don't want to be shorting this because I don't believe it has the strength or the power. All the sell orders, in my opinion, were activated in here and they were almost matched by the buy orders. I don't think we're going to have a slow descending channel and then a fast breakout. We might. It is a high, not a high possibility, but there is a possibility that will happen. But from what I've seen in the past and everything's indicated, I'll be surprised if we do. If anything, I want to start favoring to the upside. Okay, now looking short term, looking at trading maybe a 1 week or a couple day trade, I have more confluence to take this to the upside. Hi, Ochena, how you going? Welcome. So, if I'm talking too fast or anything, guys, please yell. I'm just trying to explain kind of my thoughts process as it's coming into my head and explaining my analysis here. Okay, so if I need to slow down or you have any questions, as I said at the start, fire away. I'll do my best to answer them. On the daily chart here, you see we've got that strong move to the top side where we had look at that. On the daily chart, look at these moves. Yeah, impulse, retrace, and these were some nice moves. Then what did we see? We saw a slow climb, kind of sloppy at what we're looking at here, a slow climb, and what was followed by a reversal. Prices come back almost to the bottom of we're in here of where that started, and we're seeing a slow descent. I'm just having trouble with the buttons here. We're seeing a slow descent. Now it looks a little bit better on the daily chart here as we dive further in, but at the end of the day, we're in a downtrend. We broke structure, we popped up, broke higher structure here. Yeah, we broke structure to the upside, so it was like, oh, okay, are we turning? But what we didn't break was this area of supply. You can see we touched off it nicely, moved back down, didn't break lower, kind of sat in this range in this area, Then we managed to break out, not only break lower here, but also break here. Okay? Decent move. With a decent move like that, and as you can see in recent times, we've had a push lower and a pullback to the start of the move, essentially, almost every one of these moves when we break structure, yeah? So here's the structure, we broke that. We didn't get high enough back up into there. Fair enough, the first move. Then, second time we broke structure was here. We did pop up into this area right here. Then we broke structure here, we come back, we popped up into this area. So it's consistently coming back to where that area is, which is indicating that there might be a bit of weakness because we're getting so high. It just needs an extra person to press buy with a couple $1 million, and that might flip the price trend. However, given that every time we've managed to pull back to that area, I'm assuming and predicting there's a good chance we're going to come back up to that area. Okay, so that's kind of where I want to run the chart to. I think we've broken that lower. It took a long time of rest. We had all of this area in here. It was kind of resting, building up, and then we pushed lower with a decent move here too. You can see in here, there's a lot more sellers than buyers. And as we push down and broke that lower, I can probably see the price coming back up here. So then we go even lower again. So now we're down on the 4 hour. Now for you guys that do follow, excuse me, for you guys that do follow the TradingView account, you would have seen on Great British Pound US Dollar published an idea the other day, which was a head and shoulders, a very clear one. We came in, there's a shoulder, popped up, created a neck, popped down, popped a head, came up, retested the neck, came down, popped another shoulder, and now we've broken out. Now I drew this analysis when the price was here, expecting a breakout, and now we have broken out, and my line of resistance was set right there, which is exactly where it's bounced from. Okay, now most people understand that a head and shoulders pattern can signal that we're going to see a change of trend. Now, if we start looking at a head and shoulders pattern in terms of market structure, we can kind of ask ourselves, okay, why does that resemble a change of trend? And it's a very simple one, because a lot of the market structures, head and shoulders, double bottoms, double tops, whatever you might trade, you might actually realize if you dive into market structure and understand how that all works, that there is reasoning behind these formations. Most of the time it comes down to supply and demand, but you can see that where the orders are grouping in order to flip the price at them given values. So as we move down and we broke the lower here, we broke down here, we pushed a little bit lower, we created a head, we created a neck right here, which I'm just going to go ahead and remove these and pull this right here. So we created a neck, and then what was followed was a break of structure. Okay, now a lot of people say, dude, it wicked, it didn't break structure. I beg to differ. Wicks, candle bodies, whatever they might be, if I'm talking about price action, market structure, if there were orders sold, bought, placed, and executed above a previous high, regardless if it was in the body of the wick or if it was in the body of the candle or a candle wick, orders were made, a deal was done. If I had bought at this top wick and sold at this top wick, I still would have made profit, okay? We still broke that high. That's how I trade. That's how I prefer to trade. It's how I always have traded. I see a lot of people talk about, yeah, it's not really a break unless, the candle confirms it, but you get just as many fake outs, or fake outs as you call them, but I call them liquidity grabs, whether a candle body closes or not. Like I don't believe in that's a viable indicator of market structure. I believe if a wick has topped or bottomed below a recent high or low, it's still created a new high or a new low. So once we had broken this, it was first indication that we might be turning around. Why? Because all of a sudden, in this area here, we have enough orders, buy orders, that have pushed the price to a new high, a new recent high. Okay, so we've still got all this area here, but recently, since 8th of March, we've managed to break above. And then we kind of sat here in a bit of a ascending triangle or a wedge pattern, as a lot of people like to call. We've already got the range on, and you see that we kind of push in here. We're getting closer and closer, and we eventually had the breakout. What that breakout was our second push higher. Okay, so we set a new higher high here. This was the high. This was the lower high. Created a lower low, straight up to create a higher high. Then we created a higher low, and now we've created a higher high. Okay, so we've had a market structure break. Once I've seen this market structure break, we can start looking at, okay, are we going to come dip down into where we managed to grab all of these orders? As you can see, it was a pretty strong order flow at that point in time. Are we going to be able to dip down into that area to the point we can take it further? And in the event that we do, how do I want to trade it? Realistically, how do I want to trade such a move? So I draw up the area in which I believe all the orders have originated and performed. Okay, so we're sitting around here. So at the moment, I'm looking and going, okay, let's write it in. We have here a lower high. Yep, this is our lower high because our most recent high was here. We set up another high, it's lower. Then we come through and we have a lower low down here. And then we come back up and all of a sudden we have a higher high. First higher high in quite some time, which indicates this may be the start of a change in direction. Not only do we have this head and shoulders pattern because it relates to the same thing, but we also have a higher high, right? So once we break this area here, we have a higher high. We wait for a lower low to be set, a higher low, apologies, to be set. As you can see, this long candle, we did have a pushback from the neck, and then we slowly went up, broke that higher high, which indicated down here was our lower low. Okay. Then we had the kind of mess in here, which shows even pricing. An area where a lot of people would have been buying and selling. A lot of the orders would have been filled. Everyone that took the orders were probably filled until here, where all of a sudden all the buyers got in. It was like, oh my, there's not enough sellers to be able to fill those orders. Price went up. Demand came into the market. This area right here was where all of the supply got taken up and where the demand started to exceed the supply. So that right there is where I want to draw my demand area. This is where we previously had a lot of demand which exceeded the supply. Everyone who has limit orders in this area may not have been filled yet. Price may come down and touch in there. And there might still be a lot of orders that still need to be filled within this area. Hi, Lucian, how you going? Sorry, guys, I'm chatting my head off here. I just want to explain my thought process in this. It's good to see you, mate. It's good to see you. So as we come down and we're starting to dip closer in, as you can see, we've set another higher high. So we've had a higher high. That's not a lower low. That's a higher low. We've set a higher high, a higher low, and a higher high. The 1, 2, 3. Now I'm looking for a 4 and 5. I'm looking for another higher low, followed by another higher high. Ideally, that is what I want to look for, and that is what I trade. Now, obviously, I discussed before, I can see prices coming all the way up, back up to here, which may happen. But as we go back out on the daily, there's also a slight chance. Whoops. Oh gosh, this text is too long. There's also a slight chance that, given that this is a break here, that we might dip down into these lows to recoup the demand to take it higher. That is a possibility, and that's a risk I'm willing to have a look at, a risk I'm willing to take. Right now, I'm looking for a trade, something along the lines of this. That is kind of how I'm looking to potentially trade. Now, I'm not buying blindly, and I'm not buying this right now. Please don't go on your MT5 account and quickly buy, because that's not what I'm doing. But I'm just expressing my ideas of, if I were to trade, this is kind of what I'm looking for. Now, ideally, higher high is going to be up here, and we might be able to pinch a bit more. But we'll see how the market reacts depending on if we get a trade or not. Then, once we have a plan, we've come down from top-down analysis, we've come down from the weekly time frame, we go overall bias, we've come down into the chart, we've had a look at how it's performing, we've got a head and shoulders pattern formed, we've got our higher highs that we wanted to see. our trading plan is almost complete. Now we start getting to the nitty-gritty bit, which is talking about entry points and whether the analysis is true. Right? We've got to verify the analysis given what we've gone through. We need to verify the analysis on the smaller timeframes to ensure that the demand and the supply is matching what we want to see. 8. How often do you stream? I stream every Friday, or depending on where you are in the world, it may be Thursday for you. This time, every week. This day, this time, every week. I'm live streaming here on the YouTube and on the Trading View. Always a pleasure seeing you go through your analysis. Thank you, Lucian. I appreciate it. So, once we've gotten to this point here, we want to go a little bit lower, the same way we always have been, and start looking for indications of a potential change in trend, right? What I would love to see prior to having a change of trend is getting inside this area where these orders are, okay? If we're having a change of trend here, which you might argue there's another head and shoulders pattern kind of forming, it's no good. I think the demand's in here, so I want to get these orders from the demand in here, okay? So if it changes trend here, it breaks high and then runs to the moon, fantastic, good on you. I'm not getting involved because my analysis wants me in here, and that's where I want to get in. So as we come down, we start looking for ideas. Okay, where's a decent trend line? We've got this one. Okay, not bad, not bad. We're breaking it right now, which I don't like seeing because I would have loved if it came and got in this area and then broke it. But we're breaking that trend line now. We are sitting in a little bit of a range. Could argue there. So I was showing you this pair because yesterday when analyzing it, I saw it as a very good potential idea. Looks like the idea is slowly fading in front of our eyes, which is okay. It happens. I guess it's a good thing to show you that as well, that not all ideas work out. But as we break that trend line, depending on how that runs, that might just go back to all-time highs before even dipping in here. But ideally, I wanted this to keep coming lower. I wanted this to keep coming down slowly the way it has been, dip in here, break the trend line, come back in, and then run. That is what I wanted to see. And then on the break of that market structure there, I would have been buying at the low down here. Okay, that would have been the perfect trading plan, the perfect trade setup. Now, while it's not working out on Great British Pound US dollar, it's a very similar setup over on Great British Pound Swiss franc, which I had put on the TradingView account. You had seen my analysis. I've done 2 chart analysis on this, a follow-up and a original run-through. Thursday night for Europe and UK, fantastic. I think about head and shoulders, fell to the neckline, push the order block, and quickly reverse the upside, potentially. When the price action prints into your zone, obviously you don't pull the trigger. What do you access to pull the trigger? Yeah, exactly right. We don't just blindly buy once it does get into our area of demand or supply. I've started looking to build the trade idea the same way we have. So we've got the long-term confluence. Long-term, we're looking and analyzing. We believe that the longer-term analysis on the pair is to the upside. We've come down not every single time frame, but within reason, all the time frames to analyze and to keep confirming that is the case. We've drawn out areas where we're looking for a trade. Now what you're asking, Flash, is how do we enter? What do you want to see to enter? And that's the beauty of trading, is we build a trading plan, and a lot of people will get so excited about that plan and see everything coming through that they'll just pull the trigger straight away when it gets down there. And then it burns them, and then they think the strategy is a load of crap, and they throw it in the bin, and then they go pay for someone else's course, and they'll go learn that strategy. And it's part of the cycle. What we need to do is build another plan. Okay, so while we have our trading plan of where the trade opportunities are, we then also need a plan on how to attack it once we've noticed the trading opportunity. What I look for is a few different things. Stochastic divergence. It's not a major one, but I don't mind seeing that. I don't mind that confirming what I'm reading. I want to see a trend line break, a decent trend line break. I want to see a breakage structure, which is usually the final trigger down the lower time frames. I want to see a structure break. I want to build a load of ideas based on price action that it's kind of telling me, hey, we are going to go higher here. And sure, sometimes I might get a much later entry than what I could have, but that's okay. I'm willing to do that just because I would rather have a late entry and make profit than have an early entry and ruin my win rate. Yeah, early entries and just kind of going blindly, I'm just going to hurt myself in the long run. So they're the three main things: a trend line break, some divergence, make sure we're in the area I want to be in, and then the final pull the trigger is a structure break. A structure break on a lower time frame. I want to see the price is pushing out of recent highs to the upside, or if I'm shorting, pushing recent lows to the downside. That's my main trigger. Compared to Great British Pound US dollar, we can see here on Great British Pound Swiss franc that actually it's setting up pretty well. We're in the area we want to be. Now, we didn't really push much higher on the 4-hour chart over the recent highs. However, we did get above the recent highs. Left me a little bit wary, a little bit cautious that yes, it had the strength to come from down here and rocket up to the top side and break recent highs, but it didn't do it convincingly. So realistically, if the trade does set up, I might go half risk. I might take a little bit less risk than what I usually do, just because it wasn't a punch that I was looking for. Okay, no worries, Flash. Thank you for the question. Just because it wasn't really that punch that I was after. So once we've had this push up, we had a break of trend here, push up, a comeback down. Now, if you argued that isn't a whole area of demand, you could say it came in. I wouldn't. I'd prefer this last candle down here, which I'd say it's been untouched. But it wasn't a very convincing move. Up here it was, but this was kind of messy anyway. Pushed a higher high, like we discussed on the Great British Pound US dollar. We pushed a higher high up here. We have a higher low. We have another higher low. We pushed a higher high. Now we're coming into this order block. Okay, this area right here, in which price managed to do this push. I think there's some orders left over. This is okay. We're in the area of where I want to be to go long. Fantastic. The trading plan long term, everything's kind of indicating, hey, dude, it's ready to move to the next page of the book. I think you've got a setup here. I think you've got an opportunity here. Jordan, when you get a late entry, are you looking to place a stop loss on the most obvious recent low or the low which is the origin of the reversal? I'm looking for the origin of the reversal. So when I trade and put a stop loss at the most recent low as we get a break structure, sometimes you can still get wicked. Sometimes you can enter a little bit too early in that sense. While you can get a much better risk to reward, it is a lot harder to find that point because you might get a break of structure, which is the first indication of weakness, and then a flip back down and then a push higher, bit of a liquidity grab. So rather to be safe, like for example, if this were to flip here, I wouldn't put my stop here. I would look to place my stop right the way down here. So we've come down, we've had everything we need. Jordan, fantastic. We can flip the page to the next book. What do we do now? Where do we go? And that's when we start going into the lower time frames, which the only times I use the lower time frames are to find entry points. All right, even during a trade, I don't use the lower time frames. If my analysis is on the 4-hour, I will trade the 4-hour. Just for entry points, I would like to use the lower time frames. We come down, we've got this nice trend line formed, and look at this right here. Okay, we've got a push lower with so many wicks, and there's just no conviction in this push lower, which just shows weakness in selling power. There's nothing there that's indicating there's a lot of sellers here. It is slow, it is horrible, it is fantastic. It is exactly what I want to see, and it's abiding that trend line. Okay, it's following that trend line that we've previously drawn. Quick drink break. Apologies if the mic picked that up. Hello, Tommy Kako. Sorry, that was really hard for me to say. So as we've gone in, we're on the 1 hour now. First thing we want to see is a break of trend. What you can notice, and I've already drawn this out, look at the stochastic. Yeah. What we're experiencing here is on here, it's prices moving down, but on here, slightly, prices moving up. The numbers are moving up. We've got a bit of divergence. It's our first indication that, woo, okay, we might have a reversal coming soon. This is the start of the idea going, wow, we've done everything on the higher time frames to get into this area. Divergence is starting to look good. We've got a trend line set up. Okay. Why do I have this bit marked down here? This is what I like to call the kill zone, which is the candle, the big candle right here, this red one, where the green orders started coming in. You can see here. That's where the buy orders started coming in. Ideally, what I would love to see, absolute love, best case scenario, break of trend, or even slowly keep coming down, dip into this area. It doesn't have to be much. Just tap into this area. Once we do tap in, a break of the trend line, rest for a little bit, break the structure. In the event that I see this, exactly how I just explained, that right there will be my entry point for a buy with my stop down here. Now, as Lucian just pointed out, why do you... Oh, okay, sorry. I missed one there. Sorry, Lucian. I'll get back to that in a sec. Why don't I put the stop here? Why do I put it down here? The reason I don't put the stop here is because many times we do get the original break, set a higher high, come back down, and we have a bit of a liquidity grab, right? A bit of a trap where we come back down and we do it again, or we just realize that it's not quite done moving before we go up. And it happens quite often, which is why I don't look to go really tight on the stop. I prefer to go the safe angle. If we rip through that demand, then I know the analysis. Then I know the analysis is wrong, and I'm like, it is what it is. If we're sitting here and I get stopped and then it rips, I'm going to be a little upset with myself. All right, sorry, I missed a few questions there. How are you reacting usually if the setup shows weakness in structure, even if it's not something major? Do you feel comfortable not reducing your exposure for that particular trade? Do I feel comfortable? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, if the setup is weak, like this, where we haven't had a solid break, I'm more than happy to risk less. And that's kind of where your journals come into play, or how your body starts telling you about something. If you start, having them pop ups or them pop downs that are just a little bit against what you usually want to do, my body, I start to get a little nervous, a little anxious about the trade. And given history, when I do get a little nervous, I'm a little anxious about the trade, I actually end up losing, or at least it's not like a real decent win. So I'm more than happy to reduce a bit of exposure in terms of that. Yeah, Lucian. Hello, welcome. Sorry guys, I'll just quickly get through these trades and then these questions, and then we'll get back to that. How do you enter when you see a break of structure? With limit order or manually? Limit order usually. Once I see the structure formed. But even though I have the limit order there, I will have alerts and I will be here, and I'll be watching, because if I see something I don't like, I'll cancel that order before it gets triggered. I don't set the order and walk off and go to sleep or anything like that. If I've got a trade going, I'll be watching it. Why not take the trade as prices moving down and accept the loss on the stop loss? Well, I think that's why. Why do I want to accept the loss? If every time the price was moving down, I were to get in, yeah, just as it was coming into that area, because long-term analysis told me that there's a possibility that it will turn, I guarantee in the long run I'll probably lose money, because I've had nothing to confirm that that's happening. I'm just buying on speculation. And if you keep buying on speculation, you're going to get hurt a lot more than what you win. Whereas if you're waiting for confirmations and you allow price to not guarantee, but you allow price to indicate that what you're predicting is slowly starting to happen, you increase your win rate. Personally, I increase my win rate by much more, to the point it would make me a lot more money being patient and waiting to take the trade than it would just buying there. You know what I mean? What would be the reason for you to cancel the trade? A million different things. News events, different price action, breaking structure in the opposite direction. There's a fair few different things that can indicate, just are different things pointing that I'm wrong. What was the entry point, which I thought was an entry point, was it a fake? You know what I mean? What was it? Just a liquidity grab before heading lower? There's a load of different things that can affect that. No, I am still live. I'm here. Hello. Okay, back to the trade, because I've spent 40 minutes on this trade and I really didn't intend to do that. We've got to answer some questions. As we push back down, I want to see a breakout, a push down, a break of structure, and then run it back to the top side. We've got a nice trend line set up. We've got some divergence on the stochastic. We're in the area on where we want to see a change. I think long term we can start moving to the upside. Once again, I'm not in a trade. I'm not buying yet. It's just analysis. Potential. It's potential. We've got to see what we want to see before we take a trade in this. Yeah. But yeah. All right. We got. I did no analysis on the other trade, so we got distracted by that. Similar setup on Euro US dollar. We broke a higher high here. We're coming in. This was where the area of demand was. We might dip into here and push higher. Potential there. Hey Jordan, what stock settings you use? That's just default. That's just default stochastic. 14, 1, and 3. You can't get any more basic than that one. As I said, it's not the biggest influence on my trading strategy. It's not the biggest go home. You've got to have the stochastic. It's just added ideas. The more ideas you have to a trade, the more success rate you're probably going to have. I wanted to have a chat about the Freestyle program. Has anyone signed up or has anyone started trading the Freestyle account? Or do any of you have any questions? For you guys that don't know, Freestyle is the brand new program that 5% has just released. And what I'll do is I'll come back to wrong one. I'll come back to the big screen so you guys can see me. No worries, Andrew. No worries at all. Freestyle is the program in which we've just released, which is brand new, very new, because nowhere else in the market can you find a program like this. And what it is based off of profit factor and win rate. No more profit targets, no more drawdowns, none of that. It is solely based off of your ability to maintain success over 100 trades, which is extremely impressive that we're able to offer such a service and are able to bring that to the market, because that's going to open a door for so many traders. No longer do you have to worry about hitting a 6% target in a limited amount of time. No longer do you have to worry about how much you're risking per trade because of your drawdown limit. The psychology in that is up to you. You are free to do as you please on this account. All we're asking is after 100 trades, well, not even asking, which is what it is after you have completed 100 trades. Excuse me, my throat's a bit sore today. After you've completed 100 trades, we'll analyze the account. We'll have a look if your profit factor is above 2. For you guys that don't know what profit factor is, it is essentially your profit percentage divided by your drawdown percentage, your max drawdown percentage. So as long as you make twice as much as what your max drawdown is, and you have a win rate above 30, guess what? You become a funded trader for the firm. And as long as you maintain that in the future, you can keep scaling and scaling and scaling and get a very large account. It's quite simple. While it can be complex to understand at first, once you do have your head around it, is quite revolutionary. So you are given an account. You can run away for 100 trades, do trade however you want, do what you've got to do, come back in, and then scale up, make more money. And the best part is, I think that you guys are going to love the most, 100% of the profit is yours. 100%. The way we do it back of house is we'll replicate the trades on different accounts, and we've got a lot of risk analysis teams that work on that, as hedge funds do and prop firms do. So we analyze all that, we take the risk. 100% of the profit is all yours in your account as you scale it as well, which is just incredible. That's great. You got no pressure. It's pretty much like trading on your own account. I was wondering about the profit factor. From understanding it, profit factor will be okay as long as your risk to reward over the winning and qualified trades is 1 to 2 or better. Yes. Yeah, technically, you can get a very high profit factor from less than that. And it's also about drawdowns as well, your max drawdown. So let's say you lost 4 trades on the trot there, Horman. Then your drawdown, let's say you're risking 1% per trade, your drawdown will then be 4%, which means to get a profit factor of 2, you're going to need to make 8% profit. That makes sense? So it's all about that as well. It's not just a matter of the trade, it's a matter of your win-loss and how you run in that sense as well. Profit factor can change all the time, very flexible, but the longer you've traded and the more and more you're trading, you find that your curve starts to flatten out a little bit, which is what we want to see, which is why we do 100 trades, because it gives us enough time to truly analyze your strategy and to analyze the equity curve in the sense that a prop firm can, to judge the ability and the sustainability of that trader and their system. Does anyone have any questions about Freestyle or want to touch on anything in that? You have access to me right now. I know we've been doing a lot of Q&As. We've doing a lot of live streams over more and more. We've got a lot of cheat sheets out there explaining the new program. It is because it can be, it can be long to understand at first. What is the period allowed for 100 trades? I don't think we have maximum time. I think it's literally just 100 trades. There's no time limit. There's no minimum time limit. There's no maximum time limit. You just trade 100 trades. It is all down to your trade count rather than the time limit. That's what I mean with no more restrictions, no more time, no more profit targets, no more drawdown figures. It's all up to you. Just prove you can trade and we'll take you on board. Simple as that. And that's what I love so much about it. It is as simple as that. Prove you can trade in your own way. Trade how you want to trade. If it's sustainable, we'll bring it in. Regarding the Freestyle account, I scalp the lower time frames and I usually hit 100 trades in 2 to 3 days. Wow. Yep. That's a lot of trades in 2 to 3 days too. That is pretty crazy. That is pretty crazy. Is that sustainable? That's a lot of trades. Is that on one pair? Because I know the new account is netting, not hedged. So you start with 50,000. Start with 50,000 US dollars. Okay. So the evaluation is a demo account. So while you prove your 100 trades, it is on a demo account. Once you pass that demo account, we then move you into the funded account. Where it starts getting a little bit more serious and you start chatting to us more and using our resources because you become a trader at the firm and you start making your way up and growing. And I believe you can scale up to 4 million as well on that. The FAQs and videos have been great. Love the new concepts. Thank you, Norman. I appreciate that. So after funded on Freestyle, we have to maintain a profit factor of 2. To scale up, yes. You don't have to maintain it while trading on the account. The only way you pretty much lose the account is if you hit the max drawdown, which is 10% on the funded account. To scale up to the next level, you will need a profit factor of 2, the same thing as the evaluation. But if you don't have a profit factor of 2 at the end of like your 100 trades, it doesn't matter. You can continue trading that account and 100% of the profit is still yours. So that's still there for you, even if you're not able to scale a little bit further. If you like, let's say you pass the evaluation and the next 100 trades you didn't do so great, you kind of broke even, doesn't matter. Guess what? You get another 100 trades to go again and again, and all that time you're trading on a $50,000 US dollar account live, and you get 100% of the profit. So it's really, we've made this program to really benefit you guys, and it's fantastic. The innovation and the team working behind it to bring this to you. Like literally everything here that we've done, the live streams, the new programs, everything like that is all for you. It's to help you guys. Sure, make money in the process. We're a hedge fund. We need some good traders to make some good trades. But we're also helping everyone else. Sounds too good to be true. Oh, okay, yep. Sounds too good to be true. How does the firm make money? Well, we're a fund. Yep. So while all our traders are trading on the live accounts, they're trading on our accounts. Our instant funding and our bootcamp accounts, we make the money through the profit split. Yep. We have well, the bootcamp is you get higher, but from the start, it's all 50-50. That's where we make our money. With the new account where you get 100%, we have a risk analysis team behind the scenes, which analyzes all the accounts and replicates them on other accounts that we have in the firm, or the pooled account. And depending on the trader, depending on the trade style, it'll be replicated with more, or some of the traders won't be replicated at all. We've got the risk analysis team behind the scenes that will make money on those accounts. But our live funded and our bootcamp accounts, we make our money through traders making, well, through all of our revenue streams are through the traders making money. It's how we're based, and it's how we want it to be based, to ensure that our goals are in line with your goals, because we're going to do all we can to help you guys make money, because if you guys make money, we make money. But on the new account, that's how that works. If you were a little confused about the 100% of the profit, that is how that works. And that's me. For everyone who's been in this firm before, been in these live streams, you know what I'm like. I'm not here to chat, yaga. I'm a very open book about everything. I'm very honest, and I'm very straightforward, and that is me being very honest and very straightforward. That is how the firm makes money. That is it. So I've missed a fair few questions here. So after the funded and freestyle, I know we went through that. What are the spreads on Euro US dollar? Any commissions for trades? We do $4 per lot US dollar commission, $4 per lot, and these spreads, they're quite thin through the day. During the market switchover, they're quite wide. But I can check the current spread right now is 1. is literally 0.1 of a pip, 0.2 of a pip right now. The spread is so the spread is competitive rate. We do well in the spreads department. I'm working on being more selective, but I've already hit 30 trades a day. I only trade gold. Okay, I'm in a 100k bootcamp, but I think I'll try the freestyle account. Oh, awesome, Witchfrog. Yeah. 30 trades a day is quite a lot. Obviously, if you've got the margin and stuff to back that up, then fair enough, and the long-term success. But yeah, that's a lot of trades. But hey, if it's working, fantastic. Keep going. Hi, Jordan. Do you like the Great British Pound Japanese Yen breakout 8 hour after the moving average cross? Okay, I don't like trading moving average crosses. I'll just tell it straight up, Mark. While I appreciate the question, trading based off of indicators solely, I don't love at all. So I probably won't love it if I'm going to be honest. But yeah, I'll have a look. I'll have a look shortly once we get through all these questions. That's just you guys having a little chat. I started the bootcamp challenge this week. You can't risk more than 1% on one trade in total. So how do you get 100 trades in 2 to 3 days with 0.01 lots? Well, I risk 0.10% per trade and scale up into 5 positions. There you go. Halfway to level 2 on the 100k bootcamp after 2 days. Low risk, high transaction. Okay, fantastic. Thank you for your conduct. No worries, Sterling family. Appreciate you tuning in and saying hello. Haven't taken the trade yet, but we'll see how next week will play out. Only trade Great British Pound Japanese Yen. Interesting. Will the spread come down Swiss franc pairs? The spread's quite normal on Swiss franc pairs. It's the margin that's increased, if that's what you're referring to. The margin is increased on Swiss franc pairs. I'm not sure what the process is and when we're going to bring that down. I'm not sure if the confidence has been risen in the Swiss franc's ability to maintain its peg, but I'll take it up. I'll take it up with the risk analysis team and see where they're at, and see if we can get that back to full margin soon enough. Is the $4 per lot round table? Yes, it is. Yep, that's round table. Sorry guys, I need to stay hydrated while I'm talking for so long. Okay, what were you asking? Great British Pound, Japanese Yen. Let's have a quick look for you here. I can't find it on my chart. There it is. The spread is 2 times normal? Is it? I wasn't aware of the spread being normal than market value. I can have a look, but I wasn't aware. I don't think there's any changes in the Swiss franc for that. There's just the Swiss franc pairs usually do have a little bit more spread across the market as a whole, more than what you would find on like GU or EU, because the volatility is not as strong. But I'm unaware of a big difference. But I'll have a look into that for you, and I'll shoot you over a message shortly, and we'll have a look into that. But yeah, Great British Pound Japanese Yen. Here we are. We're talking about a moving average cross on the 8-hour chart, which is a chart I don't even have available because I don't trade it. But I'll have a look because everything adds up. And I'm assuming, like, I can kind of tell you there was a moving average cross would have been here somewhere, right? Because moving average just lags from indicators. So it's going to be something like that, and then the shorter one will be something like that, right? And then that'll be the cross, and then you had a breakout there, I'm assuming. Tell me if I'm right. That is a complete wing it, but I think I've just drew almost exactly what you're looking at. Should we actually have a look? Let's grab two moving averages, right? And what was it? It was a 50 and a 20. Let's go ahead and change the color. Let's get purple. Okay, I wasn't far off. Just let's change the moving averages to the point they're not the same color. I wasn't far off. The cross was here. I drew the cross there. I'm quite happy with that. That was close enough. That was just a fun little game for me. But I'm assuming that's what you were referring to. The small pullback at the top here. This pullback here, you wanted to buy that. So you were. Sorry, I've missed a few. That's true. Not my tips. Yeah, it's until okay. I'll have a look into that for you. So is that how you trade? You try and buy supply and demand area, wait for the break of structure on lower time frame and into the limit order with the stop loss out of the same. Essentially, yeah, given an easier way of saying it. Yeah, that's a summed up. Generally, yes, wait for reactions. Are you even talking to me? I don't even know if you're talking to me. Yeah, I wouldn't have seen anything. Well, we trade very differently. I wouldn't have seen anything up there that was kind of like worthy of trading. Let me get rid of these. Not only do I not trade this pair, I don't trade. Sorry, I do trade this pair. Not only do I not trade this time frame, but I also don't trade the way you're talking. So I'm assuming you've seen a breakout of here, and you've deemed that as a pullback and bought. Usually speaking, if I'm going to see a pullback, I want it back down here and then a push higher. Like, I'd consider that because, as you can see, the analysis on this is a clear daily chart, potentially even weekly, right? This could be a weekly chart move. And then you're basing a pullback on an 8-hour or 4-hour chart in what could be the top of the move. How far back can we have a look here? You can see what we've achieved is gotten into this messy area, which could be a solid demand spot. You can see price kind of just sat around for ages, and then we had that, right, a massive imbalance right there. So if we had a look, come back, we had our first test there, and it clearly moved away from it. And guess what? We are experiencing our second test here. Now, while we're well and truly in that area, we haven't gotten above it. So in the next, I don't know, before like 164, we can probably see it turning. Don't take that as advice. This is just me speculating, but that's what I see at the moment. If I was looking to take this long, my entry point, and you're not going to like it, is down here. That's where I would be looking to take this long because we've got a clear imbalance. There's mostly buy orders right here, right? In here is where I'm going to want to be getting, but yeah. Sorry, I missed a couple one. I followed the same tactics from Jordon Mellor videos. Okay, cool. Pretty good. Can you please analyze euro US dollar? Sure can. After a cross, usually very late in the move. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Thanks for the question for Jordan. I think I might switch to enter my trades like that as well. Well, have a test. See, this is the thing. Okay, I've traded like this, and this works for me. Why? Because I understand. I've done the testing, and I know that I've got the ability and the sense, the body sense. I can read my emotions to the point I know when my body is telling me to take a trade and telling me not to take a trade. The problem with a lot of people going out and searching for new strategies or taking advice from other people is if you haven't done the testing and gone through the whole learning curve of that strategy yourself, you don't know how to trade it properly. Yeah. So the issue, while 100% take what I'm saying on board, don't just automatically add it to your trading strategy because it's what I do and it works for me, or it's what another trader does and it works for them. That's a recipe for disaster. Take what I'm saying and go back, look at all your trades, look at your trading log, and analyze what would have happened if you took that on board, and have a look if it actually is beneficial to you or not. Because you might find, looking back, that it actually makes you lose more trades or miss more profit. But just because it was working for me, you felt the need to add that to your strategy. So that's something you've got to be really careful of when taking in a lot of information. Don't just be like, oh, that makes sense. It's very easy to understand and it's really cool. I'm going to start doing that now, because you're going to get trapped. You're going to get trapped, and it's going to be hard to breathe and make the profits long term because you don't truly understand whether it's beneficial to the way you trade. So that's my advice. Take everything we give you on board for sure, but validate it that it is going to work for you, because what Hussein trades and what Russell trades will be completely different, but they will both pass a freestyle account because they're trading profitable. Completely different strategies. Now, if Hussein goes over and says, no, do this to Russell, he might go from a successful trader to a really bad trader just from adding that little touch, but it worked for Hussein doing the same touch. You know what I mean? So that depends on the strategy and how you run it. So that's one thing. Well, take what I'm giving you on board, everything, all the education and the information that we can give, take it on board, sure, understand it, but validate it. Always validate it, because things that work for me won't work for you, and things that work for you won't work for me. But there might be one in the middle where we go, oh yeah, that revolutionized my trading. And that's something you've got to do. Most of the work done in trading is done off the charts. That is the best advice I can give anyone. Most of the work in trading is done off of the charts. In validation, in emotions, in everything. It's all off the charts. Euro US dollar, you wanted me to have a quick analysis. Definite downtrend. Oh, interesting. In a very interesting and pivotal area. Ooh. I got excited, but then I didn't. So we've got an area here, which was more or less just a pop from an area here, right? Broke a higher high on the weeklies, come down, got into that demand area, pushed higher again, failed to break a high, and then it's moving back down. We could break this area and go lower. Could break this area and go lower on the weekly. We jump in the daily. I've already got a couple of trend lines drawn up there. I don't usually don't usually trade trend lines from longer term analysis, that is, anyway. Push down, we broke here, broke structure. I don't think we're going to push back up to these areas. Broke structure there too. Broke structure there, pulled back perfectly into that demand and rushed down. Ooh. It's a tough one, this one. It's a tough one to analyze. We're kind of just sitting in this area. I want to see something happen. Now, while we have had a little bit of a break up, so we've had push up, didn't break structure, pull back, higher low, push up, did break structure, pull back. Could be looking to take longs in this area. I'm not sure on its ability to get much higher, because on the weekly I could see it going lower. It's an interesting one. It's an interesting one, that's for sure. I understand, but since I'm aware of this wave into trades, I'm also losing trades. I noticed that there was not a break of structure on the lower time frame, so if I would wait for the break of structure and didn't see it, I wouldn't have entered and could have prevented myself from losing that trade. Exactly. And that's why I added it to my trading strategy. While sometimes the supply and demand areas and just buying and selling blindly can be extremely profitable in the risk to reward and stuff that you can get, realistically, if you don't get that indication that the buying or the bullish or the bearish power is coming into the market at the level you want, it's likely to just rip straight through, which is why we wait for those confirmations, and that's the importance of having confirmations. I did a trade idea yesterday on the TradingView account about that, talking about the importance of trading confirmations. All right. Does anyone? We're getting pretty close with the DXY US in strong. I would take care of taking long on Euro US dollar. Exactly, Russell. I'm having a look. I'm not seeing a whole lot of strength to take that higher, or a whole lot of want really to take that higher. What are we looking at today on the Japanese yen? I like day trading the Japanese yen in the Asian session. As you can see right now, we've got a very big imbalance coming in. Could be an area too short if it likes to come back up. Keep an eye on that later today. If it comes back up there, it could be a nice area to short. Realistically, the best one. No, because that's we broke structure, patched that, broke structure. Yeah, back in here could be a very good area to short. Keep an eye on that one today. That's my little keep an eye on trade. Does anyone have any questions before we switch off? Really, we've gone for a little over an hour now. Any questions about anything at all, or anything anyone wants to run through before we do head off and get back to our days? As we've got a lot of work to do today. Is there anything at all anyone wants to have a chat about? Oh, there is a bit of a delay between me talking and the stream getting out there. It happens every week, so if I'm just standing here in awkward silence for a little bit, it's just because I'm waiting for those messages to come through. No problem, Max. I appreciate you being here. Hopefully you've taken some good value. I know we discussed one trade pretty much all day. Apologies for that, but I wanted to give you a clear run through in how to do that and how to have a look as well. Looking into the Freestyle account now. Fantastic, Russell. You might find it really helps you if you're a day trader or a swing trader. Swing trader, maybe not, but we are looking at ways to incentivize more swing traders and changing that a little bit. But the program is in beta, so it is in test mode. So we're getting everyone's feedback on how they're liking it, what they're doing, and then sitting down, having meetings in ways we can implement and adjust in your feedback. When are you going to host a live session again? This time next week. Same day, same time, same place, every week. So depending on where you are in the world, I am in Melbourne, Australia. So at 10 a.m. in Melbourne, Australia on a Friday is when I go live. For most people that tune in, they're in America. So Eastern time is 19, which is 7 p.m. Eastern time on a Thursday night. And then is anyone here from Europe? Is anyone in Europe or UK that can share what time it is over when I go live over there for you? Whoops, that was the wrong button. But yeah, I'm here every week right here. You can catch me. Also, if you have an account with us, or you're in Tokyo, fantastic. If you have an account with us, you can reach out to me on the Discord. I also have a channel in there for questions for Jordan, where you can come in, you can ask me some questions that you have through the week, and I'll address them here. I know, Freya Horman, you reached out to me saying you'd love to see me talk about the charts. About US dollar CAD, I don't think I did an idea on US dollar CAD. Did I do an idea on US dollar CAD? No. So I got a little confused by that one, but I'm assuming you maybe meant this. I don't have my screen share. I'm assuming you maybe meant this idea. Everyone over on YouTube and even you guys on the TradingView, if you're not following us, give us a follow. You'll get a notification every time I go live, as well as the trade ideas I put out, like the one you can see on your screen right now. Come over, share some comments, please. It gives me a lot of motivation to keep doing this. Comments and likes. It gives me an indication of not only what you guys want to see, but also helps me in producing more and more content depending on what you guys want. So if you ever do see these, it takes 2 seconds, give it a little thumbs up, or come in, comment and be like fantastic, or share an idea or whatever it might be on the same pair. Start a conversation with me. I'm always active over there. You're in Holland. It's 1 a.m. Wow, you're up late. What are you doing awake at 1 a.m.? It's the Asian session. Excellent session, thank you. No worries, Foreman. I appreciate you showing up. Thanks, Jordan. I really enjoyed the session. Good to see another Aussie here as well. Yeah, it is. To be honest, Andrew, there's a fair few. There's a fair few Australians in the firm looking at doing a couple of different things, and there's a few Kiwis too, which is fantastic to see because trading in the industry seems a little bit quieter over this side of the world, but it is good to see. London, you're at 11 p.m. Ooh, you're up late too. Thanks for tuning in, Max. All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to do me. We've run through a lot. As I said, main thing is takeaway is have a look at the Freestyle program. It is epic, and for a lot of you, I think it'll actually make you a lot of money just quietly. If you want to reach me at any point, feel free to reach me through the Discord or through the 5%ers help desk. If you want to get access to this picture, sure. I'm going to go ahead and just post the trade idea there for you. You can go through and have a look at that if you would like to. I'll also post that on the YouTube account too. There you go. You guys can see that as well. Head over, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, have a comment. I really appreciate it. It keeps me motivated to keep producing content like that as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been great. While some of you may be quiet, it's okay. I still know you're here in heart. Have an absolute fantastic weekend. As always, take some time off from the charts. Go spend some time with your family. Go outside. Go have some fun. Come back refreshed on Monday, ready to attack the markets. Enjoy, guys. I absolutely appreciate you all, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.